Men, are you poisoning your own mind? The reason I'm making this video is because I would say that about 20 to 30% of men I deal with have shame trauma or some kind of shame trauma from their past, from their childhood. And this is where they have parents telling them when they're children that they're idiots, that they're stupid, that they're dumb, that in some extreme cases, believe it or not, I've heard stories where families have shamed a child because he had a small penis, even though he was a child. It's horrible. There's been other situations where men have had problems with women in school and they've been humiliated. And then this carries on through to later in life, where I was talking to a guy just recently who told me that he was always being shamed and humiliated by women, and this sort of became a self-fulfilling prophecy. All of the things that he was worried about, he vocalized. And what you'll find is that when you tell women your greatest fears, they'll often use that against you later on. So for example, if you make it obvious to a woman that you're worried because you've got a receding hairline, she might be sympathetic at that point in time, at that moment, but you'll find that later on she'll think, this is a weak point, and then she will test you on it. She'll start to make some comments about it. Perhaps a guy is worried about his height, and he's always been insecure about this. Maybe his family and friends when he was younger used to tease him because he was small and he was short. And then you get into a situation where he's worried about this, and women pick up on it, and then they start to test him on this. And all of these childhood triggers come flooding back. And so the sense of shame and humiliation never really goes away. Now, you have to be very careful about this, because if you don't control your shame, it comes out in other ways. For example, if you have a sense of shame and you don't know how to deal with it, people like this often turn to porn addiction, they turn to sexual addiction, they turn to alcohol addiction, drug addiction, anything where they can lose themselves in the moment. And sometimes they'll even do things which are painful or harmful to themselves because they want to create a pain that is more painful than what they experienced before, because they hope that that pain will erase the pain from the past, but it doesn't work like that. Really, what you have to do is tell yourself a different story and be aware to begin with, because it is a long process to heal shame, but in the beginning you want to start telling yourself a different story. So men, you don't want to poison your own minds. You don't want to tell yourself that you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're a moron, you're ugly, you don't deserve to be with a woman, she's better than you. No one is better than anyone else. We're all biological beings made from the same atoms. Some people just get themselves into a position through discipline and effort that is much better than other people. Now, I'm aware of my thoughts because I studied psychology and I worked in psychology, but before I studied psychology, I had no idea about what I was thinking. My thoughts just came to me. I was very impulsive. I was very emotional. I wasn't aware of my own self-talk. The first step I would recommend for any man is to just become aware of your own self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? What comments do you make when you make a mistake? What comments do you make when an accident happens? This also extends to other people, because people who are pretty critical of themselves and judgmental of themselves will also be judgmental of other people. And so what happens is you get people who can become quite bitchy. Just look at the guys in the comments section on my channel. And they make these bitchy comments towards other men, and they hate women naturally. But they are also highly critical and judgmental towards themselves, so that the shame never goes away. They are judgmental and they are horrible to other people, but there's always a price to be paid. When you judge somebody else, you have to pay the debt at some point in time. That comes back to you. And who pays the debt? You pay the debt. I really believe that the most important differentiator between men and people in general is a positive state of mind. It's being positive, because if you're positive, it makes all the difference in life. You can approach women, you can talk to women, you can have successful relationships, you can introduce yourself to people who you would think you wouldn't be able to talk to when it's really not a big deal. You can really get to meet all kinds of people and start all kinds of businesses and have all kinds of success. If you don't have a positive state of mind, if you have a negative state of mind, if you're filled with shame and self-disgust and loathing, that's going to cause all kinds of problems later on in life. So this is just something to think about and help you guys out. If you want to know more about building attraction with women, I highly recommend you get a copy of my book, Atomic Attraction, and let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I love to hear from you guys. And if you're struggling with an issue like this, don't forget I do phone and email consultations. You can book a consultation with me on my website, develofattraction.com.